Okay, I'm going to try and catch up on the videos. And I'm purposely wearing something today that is a little smaller than it should be, but this is to remind me that eating like I did while I was in California is a really lousy plan if you want to try and stay in your clothes. Okay, so this is from 2 weeks ago. Well, it'll be, yeah, 2 weeks ago. And I never made the video for it, so I'm going to do it now. We went over two more letters. This is a Zayin, and that's a Het. You're supposed to say this sound with that really wet, guttural thing, Het, but I have a really dry mouth and I have a very difficult time trying to say it. But if you can do it, good for you. You'll sound more Hebrew. Okay, so that's a Zayin, and it symbolizes a weapon of some sort. This word here, Zayan, is a verb that means to be armed, to take up arms. And whenever you see a Zayin in the word, it usually has something to do with a weapon or a tool. You can use it as a tool, but it's going to be something along those lines. And one of the examples I gave last 2 weeks ago was there is a word in Hebrew that I don't have. Well, I can scribble it up here. Yeah. Okay. I'll just make it over here really small. Okay. That's a gimel and a resh. And that's the three little dots. It's ger. And that means stranger. When Moses named his son Gershom, he said it's because I have been a stranger there, or I've been a stranger in a strange land, or something like that. Ger means stranger, and Sham is there. So what he named his son was stranger there. Now there's another word that looks a lot like this that has a Zayin on it. And instead of being a ger, it's a zer. And they're both strangers, but you look at them differently. A ger with a gimel, remember the gimel is the camel, it's the rich man benefiting someone, it's sharing the wealth, it's condescending sometimes, but not in a negative way, like God condescends to our level. And so a ger is a stranger that is a friendly stranger. It's somebody you don't know. It could be somebody who is a member of your religion, but they're living out of state and they're just visiting your congregation. They're a stranger, but they're welcome and they're friendly, and you consider them part of your group pretty quickly. It can also refer to a convert. There be the people who are naturally born, whatever, and then a ger can be a proselyte to Judaism or Christianity or whatever. Now, a zer is coming with a weapon. This is not the stranger you say that you let into your home. This is the stranger that you're afraid of him, and everybody keeps an eye on him. So the example I gave was we had Elliot visiting, and I hope he's still coming, but he came the first time and he was a ger. We had no idea who he was. He was welcome. He was friendly, but we didn't know him. And then he was not a zer because he was friendly. And now that we know him, he's a chaver. That's a friend. So anyway, that was just a little bit of background. So Zayan means to be armed. This is two letters here to make a word chai. Again, with that guttural sound. And that means life. It can sometimes refer to an animal. It can mean living. And so when you take your glass of wine, you say, Lechem. That's two lives. Chaim is the plural of chai. But it usually is just translated life. It's one of those words that it's in a plural form, kind of like mayim. You don't have lots of drops of water and they're all mayim. You just say the water, the mayim. So anyway, that's life. And then coming up with a couple of words that we have used all these letters before, so you should be able to read them. There's a Het, and then two gimels, and they both have the markings under them that have a straight line. So for our purposes, we're just going to say ah for all of it. Chagag. And that means to celebrate a festival, to celebrate a moed. And sometimes you'll see just Chag, which can be the festival, it can be the event, or it can be the sacrifice that's commanded for that event. So if you see something about something to be doing with slaughter or whatever, and it's talking about a Chag, they're not destroying all the celebration, they're just talking about the sacrifice. And when we have Hanukkah, Yom Kippur, whatever, we will often say Chag Sameach. That's festival, and that means joyous. And the adjective comes after the noun in Hebrew. So joyous holiday, and you might have like Chag Sukkot Sameach. Happy Festival of Sukkot. You would put Sukkot in the middle. Okay, so moving on. Okay, let's see. This is a pretty important word. And then here it is as a noun. And let me just double check. Okay, so that's right. And then this one is, okay. This is Aleph, Hey, Bet. And remember, the Aleph only has whatever vowel sound comes after it. Oh, I'm out of focus. Okay. So since it has an ah marker under it, so it's ahav. Ahav. That means to love. Here is the word as a noun. Ahava. That means love, like the love I have for somebody. There's another word that has some of the same sounds. And that is, yeah. Okay. So Aleph, Vav, and oftentimes we're seeing the Vav as either an O class vowel or a U class vowel. This time it's really just a V. It's another way, both of these make the V sound. Va. Now you have the same sounds, hav, you've just switched these two around. And when you switch them around, it is a different meaning altogether. It becomes to lust. This is the appropriate love. It is something that you can have in the home. It's the way families work together. This one has a nail. You are nailed to that thing. You want it or her or the money or whatever it is that you're lusting after, and you're nailed to that. It is not something that is peaceful and serene and all that. It's a feeling of being driven, being obsessed with something. So this is a hav, to love, and ava, to lust. Okay, so here, did I do that right? Okay. Just making sure. Okay. And then there's, this is going to be the noun form. Okay. This has the doggish in it, so this is ba, not va. Ba, vaz. Ba, vaz. It means to show contempt. And here is the noun form, the contempt that you're showing, or it can be the person who has been shown the contempt, the one who's been made a laughing stock. And this is vous. And the sounds are really different. If you look at it, it's just the shapes of the letters, and you ignore things like the doggish and the vowel markings, you have the exact three same letters. Very often, like with the va, the two ways of saying va that I just showed you with a hav and a va, you have different letters, and you could have, if I had I'm saying in English letters, Aleph, Vet, Hey, Aleph, Vav, Hey, they would be pronounced exactly the same, but have different letters. Or it could be Aleph, Vav, Aleph, or Aleph, Vav, Ayin, and they would all still be pronounced Ava. This one has all the same letters, but the letters have changed sound, so it can go both ways. So instead of having a ba like you do in the root word, you have the doggish gone, and this becomes a va. So here you still have a vav. There it is a consonant with a v sound. Here it's been made into a U class vowel, and the Zayin is the same on both. So ba vas and vous. Vous is the contempt or the laughing stock. Okay, there was one more series of words here. Let's look. And then if my phone is still working, then I will try and get tomorrow's done tonight too. If not, I will catch up. I will try and be better about this. Okay. And let's see. Okay. Then I'll just do a kind of it. And that is okay. Making sure. And then we have one more. Okay. Aleph and Chet. Ach. And that is brother. Now, if you add the yod, which that wasn't in this one, was it? We're coming to it. Yeah, I think it's in the next one. Okay, so the yod or the yud with the hirik. So you put the two of them together, and you put it as a suffix after a word. That means my. So ahi is my brother. Achim, it's the same thing, but now you've added on a mem sulfite, and you don't know about mems yet, but achim is brothers. So ach, brother, achi, my brother, achim, brothers. And let's see. Oh, there was one more word. Can I fit it on here? I'll see if you can see it, and if not, I will move it up. Okay, if I move, can you see it? Yeah, I think so. Okay, ha-za, and the hey on the end of a word usually doesn't make a sound. It's just part of the ending. Oops, that's going to have to be chaza. Okay, and this means to see prophetically, to see in a vision, to perceive. It's not the same word as seeing with your eyes. I see the tree over there. That's ra'ah. But chaza means to see it very much like if you're talking with somebody and they're trying to explain something and you're not getting it, and then you finally say, oh, I see what you mean. Excuse me. You didn't see anything, but you got it. You got it in your mind. That's where you're perceiving it. So Hazah could be that, or it could be seeing a vision and speaking prophetically. Okay, so I think that was, oh, no, there's a couple of other little details I was going to share with you. I'm going to go back to just, see, and that was the Zayin. Okay. Something kind of interesting about the Zayin. Okay. We did the Vav. And my lines aren't too straight, but you can tell. Here's the Vav. Here's the Zayin. What makes them different is that the Zayin has this little tail that comes off. And that's called a crown. And lots of times on a Zayin, when a scribe would really write it, and I can't do this very well, but it'd be like 3 little points up there. They would decorate it. And so Zayin is considered a crowned letter. The Vav is the nail, and the Vav, because it's a nail, it attaches things, it hooks things together. It's the word and. But the nail, one of the first things as believers we're going to think of is the crucifixion. So here's the Vav. Here is the crowned Zayin. And didn't Yeshua say that he came not to sow peace, but he came with a sword, that his tongue is sharper than a 2-edged sword, dividing marrow and bone? So he's a weapon. He is a weapon. And he had, after the next letter, after the Vav, is the Zayin. After the crucifixion, the crown. And I thought that was kind of cool. Forgot to say what a Chet is. It's considered a strong fence. It's like the paddock, but it's got an open area, but that's supposed to show that that's the entryway. And so when you have something like that's your brother, you have the Aleph, which means strong, and then you have the fence. So your brother is a strong fence. When we talk about iron sharpening iron, or our brothers being our support, and if you have a bunch of branches together, you can't snap them. They're our support. They're what keep us going. And the concept in Hebrew of an ach, of a brother, is the same as we would have. It could be your biological brother, the one that you have the same parents, or it could be somebody that's just kind of part of your tribe or your congregation, or a good friend, and you feel like your family. That's your ach in Hebrew just as much as a biological brother is. Okay, so I think that is it for this one, and I will get on to the next one if I can. Talk to you soon.